They're red or pink or white. They're apple blossoms. Take a trip down County Road 24, southwest of Cannon Falls, Minnesota, to the Cannon Valley Orchard and Evergreen Tree Farm. Started in 1995, the Jack and Cindy Lucking family has planted thousands of trees. Let's head down through the gate and meet their son Nick, who is the field manager for the farm. Nick has a degree from the University of Minnesota in environmental horticulture. He majored in that subject because he wanted to learn the physiology behind what he was doing on the farm. This gave him a well-rounded background in soil science, plant pathology, and entomology, which greatly helps with the monitoring of plant health. Nick explained, "There is always something new to learn about plants. For example, they find ways to adapt to a changing climate and to defend themselves from pests even though they are stationary, meaning they can't just get up and leave." With his science background, Nick uses integrated pest management to better preserve the environment. By taking into account daily temperature, light, and rainfall amounts, a more accurate picture of pest physiology is painted. A threshold is then determined, allowing the Luckings to use fewer pesticide sprays with better control. This ensures better product safety for the consumer and a safer work environment for them. Now let's hop in the gator with Nick and go see the orchard.
Alright, this tree here is a zestar, one of our earliest apples. It actually is our earliest apple. Usually ripens about August 20th or so. So it blooms faster than the other varieties. You can see this one is in full bloom, whereas if you turn and look at some of the other ones, they're not quite in full bloom yet, about 50% bloom. So the bees are actively out today. It's a nice sunny day here, got a little break in between the rain. So the bees are out. They haven't had a real good chance to come out with some of the rain and the wind lately, so this will be good for them to get some good pollination in these trees. On this tree, as I mentioned earlier up there when we were looking at the zestars, this one is a Harrelson, everyone's favorite pie apple. And you can see it ripens a little later in the year than the zestars. So right now we're at about 50% bloom on this tree, and that's why there's so much pink on it. So this stage is called the pink, and then when you see the flowers, then it's called the bloom stage.
Now what are we looking at here, Nick?
This is the eastern tent caterpillar. It's a moth that in the springtime like this actively feeds on the foliage of trees, all sorts of trees. You can find them in any tree that you might have at home, oak, maple, apple, birch, really anything they'll feed on actively, and they'll just destroy all the leaves until they get bigger and then turn into the moths. But yeah, so
do they hurt the tree?
They do hurt the tree because, you know, as soon as they start munching on the leaves, it takes away from the photosynthesis or the food making system of the tree and kind of decreases the vigor. So as soon as the bees are gone, I'll have to get in here with an insecticide and take care of them.
And what are these, Nick?
These are honeygold. It was a variety developed around I think in 1970. It's a cross between the Golden Delicious and a Harrelson. Pretty popular around here. Nice sweet apple. One of the benefits about the honeygold is that you can make a apple pie without using any sugar since they're so sweet.
Really?
So it's a nice apple for eating. The only
and you say Jack helped you plant those.
Yep, my dad helped me plant them. One of the things you'll notice as we come down in this block of the orchard that the trees are much closer together in the row, and that's because we've developed a trellis system that these trees are supported by. So that means these trees are 3 feet apart in the row, some are 2. And that allows us a lot easier fruit production, similar to what they use in Europe to pack more fruit in per acre. than we'd otherwise be able to do. And this tree is a Manchurian Crabapple. It's used to pollinize this block of Honeycrisp. Unfortunately, this year, Mother Nature kind of dictated when it started blooming, and with the warm temperatures we had, it got an earlier start than the Honeycrisp, which is unfortunate, but hopefully next year it'll come back in balance and it'll be able to pollinize the Honeycrisp. But right now the petals are falling off, so this stage is called petal fall, the final stage before fruit set. So kind of an important stage. If we get any sort of frost at this portion, it could wipe out the whole crop like we experienced last year. But so far so good.
A common question that Nick gets is whether you need 2 apple trees to get apples. Yes, he said, you need 2 different varieties. Although one could be a flowering crabapple in your yard that produces viable pollen that pollinates your tree. Another question Nick gets is, why doesn't my tree bear fruit every year? Well, Nick explains, your tree is bearing on a biennial schedule because it has fruited too heavy from the previous year. The tree needs to be thinned when the fruit is about the size of a marble. This can be accomplished, he explained, by physically clipping fruit back to 1 per cluster or by the use of a particular insecticide. Nick would recommend manually thinning if you have only 1 or 2 trees, as it is more consistent. Thanks for the tour, Nick. We'll plan on seeing you later on in the season.